We're back with another epic toy review of epic proportions. Today we are taking a look at Transformers Prime Voyager class Optimus Prime, a figure I've been long waiting to get my hands on. Finally I have, and I've had him for a week now, so I've had plenty of time to get the transformation sequence as best as possible. So there shouldn't be any errors when I transform him finally, unlike what I forgot to do with Transformers Prime RC. And to those who have seen that review and got on me about that, I do apologize. I am very sorry that I forgot to transform her during the review, but you know what? I uploaded it onto YouTube and, you know, it was too late. So, like I said, again, I apologize. Rest assured it won't happen again unless it is by purpose. So, be that as it may, the reviews must go on. So here's Optimus Prime in his cab mode first. A very nice looking semi-truck, you know, not a flathead anymore since those aren't really around these days. Kind of. For a quick size comparison, so let's go ahead and take a look at its counterpart, the Dark of the Moon Voyager Optimus Prime. Notice that the Voyager scale of the trucks are actually getting bigger again. I mean, it's not like the original Voyager class figures. They're still small. They are. But it's good enough. It's getting a lot better. And hopefully they will get a little bit more bigger in time. Maybe the economy is changing around a little bit. Maybe Hasbro is finally realizing that the Voyagers need to be in a certain scale, rather than being small like deluxe class figures. Like, you know, But still, I like it. This scale is perfect. It really is. Now, it's not perfect when it comes to Transformers Prime RC, which she's not in her vehicle mode, guys, and I'm not going to take the time to put her in her vehicle mode just for this part of the review. So, instead, we're going to bring out one that is close enough to the scale. Human Alliance RC that came with skids. Human Alliance skids. So, there's a close enough scale to what a motorcycle and a truck could be. Now, it's not perfect. Obviously, it's never perfect when it comes to this kind of stuff. But if you want to see perfection, guys, I recommend you go outside and you go look at an actual truck compared to a motorcycle, okay? When it comes to toys, it really doesn't matter. Toys are never perfect. They're never in scale with actual vehicles. Face it. If you want big figures, you're going to have to sacrifice scale. Really, you are. So you can't blame Hasbro for any mistakes. So those who complain and argue on and on about motorcycles being too big against a car or a truck or any of the Autobots, just stop it, okay? You know it's not possible. You can't have scale, articulation, all crammed in together in something this small. It's just not possible. It can't be done. So, Optimus Prime's truck mode is pretty much in good scale with vehicles of the past. Cab mode is pretty nice. So let's see if I can get it up close to the camera so you guys can take a good look at all the detail. There we go. Camera's playing a little tricky on me at the moment. So let's see if you can see all this. Here's the robot kibble at the bottom. Rotate it around. Look at this side. Look at this side. Come on, camera. Focus. Good enough. There are a few little nitpicking areas. Unlike the deluxe Optimus Prime of Transformers Prime, the headlights are not painted. That's really it. That's all I got to complain about. My panel lining is actually pretty good on my figure. Now, I do know that some people out there that have reviewed Voyager Optimus Prime already have had trouble with getting this panel line connected and this as a majority. Luckily, I don't have that problem here, but I do have it here and here. It's just the way that the feet transform into its cab mode. It's hard, okay? It's quite impossible to get this to sit all the way down. unless you know, customize some work with this figure. But I'm not going to do that. I am not. With how much I paid for this figure, I'm not going to do that unless, of course, I actually get a hold of an Optimus Prime Voyager class figure in retailers soon. They're not available yet, but you still can get them for a pretty decent price off of eBay. So yeah, rubber smokestacks as usual. I mean, let's face it, it's been like this for a very, very long time. You shouldn't be surprised. Lacking the paint on, like I said, the headlights, the tail lights are lacking on paint. And once again, just like Voyager Optimus Prime of Dark of the Moon, Hasbro decides to neglect the tire rims. No paint whatsoever. Again, very, very disappointing. Look at this. They could put silver paint here. They could put it in the robot mode, which I will show you soon. But they can't put it here on the tire rims. Really. Tis. So, other than that, I really got nothing else to complain about. Like I said, the panel lining is okay on my vehicle. So, what do you say we go ahead and take this bad boy and put it into robot mode? Oh, wait, there is one thing I did forget to show. Sorry I neglected this. Get out of the picture. There is weapon storage for Optimus Prime's weapons. There are these tiny little holes and these pegs, or you know, the handles to the weapons. Peg right here, and the sword pegs right here, which looks weird. It just does. Do you actually see a vehicle on the road with a blade sticking out in the back of its cab? I don't think so. Here's what I do. Since there is no trailer for Optimus Prime, and yet there's a trailer hitch that Hasbro decided to put on him, take the sword, put it in this little gap right here, which doesn't hit Optimus Prime's head, peg it in, and there you go. That looks a hell of a lot better. Now you can put the gun back on and it doesn't look too bad. And it actually looks pretty good considering the fact that maybe Optimus Prime might be chased by Decepticons from behind or something. You know, get a little creative. It's okay. But still, it looks actually pretty decent like this. It looks a lot better than sticking out this way. So yeah, just thought I'd bring that up as well. So okay, the moment you guys have been waiting for, taking Optimus Prime from his truck mode to robot mode, which, no offense, it is a complete but I've done it a few times and I'm pretty sure I could do it one more time. So let's find out if I've got the guts to do this one more time. So, here we go. Hopefully this will all be on camera, just in case. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Bring the camera up. That way I won't have to do it later. So, pay attention. Here we go. I'm only doing this once. The way I like to start it off is just lift up the cab top itself at first. Bring this out. Come back here. Lift up the trailer hitch. And then split these apart, which is going to split the top as well. Go ahead and flip out the feet, like so. Sit on my side. Take the cab hitch and put it in. Then you're going to bring these down. And according to Hasbro, they're supposed to lock into place with a simple peg and a hole. But it doesn't work. As you can see, both sides, they don't lock into place. They just keep popping right out. But it's okay. It's alright. I mean, it does stay put. It's not loose. See? I'm moving it around and they're actually staying in place even though they're not pegged in. But we'll get more into that in his complete robot mode. So, we pull this out, lift this up, pull this out, lift it up. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to split the grill and flip it up like so. Fold it in just a little bit, not all the way. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull out Optimus Prime's hood, which is pretty much his arms, which is obvious. And then I'm going to split them apart like so. and bring them out like so, just like this. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pull out Optimus Prime's head so we got some clearance. And then I am going to rotate the waist, just get it out of the way, go ahead. And then I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to bring these down so I've got some more clearance space for the rest of the transformation. And make sure the smokestacks are still pegged into the holes. They will come out once in a while, at least mine does. Now, we're going to bring this up, and we're going to fold them in, and they should lock right into place. If they don't, make sure they do. Then we're going to lift these up all the way like so. And hopefully you're seeing all this on the camera. So, next thing we're going to do is bring up the fake window. See, there's the real one. Here's the fake one. But for show accuracy, it's actually pretty good. Make sure it's up all the way. I'm going to go ahead and flip down his arms, which should be obvious by now. And then here comes the tricky part. In order to get his chest to align perfectly, or should I say his shoulders to align perfectly with these gaping holes on the tire rims, you have to make sure that his chest is actually sticking out. So you got to push in a little and turn at the same time, just to get the chest to stick out properly, like so. It's a little tricky, but if you get it, well then good for you. First attempt, not bad. There's these little pegs right here that go into this hole. Make sure they align properly and make sure they go in, otherwise this is totally pointless. So bear with me for a second as I pulled that one out and I'm trying to realign it, and which I will. That side went in, and this side will not. Try again. Come on, come on, don't do this to me, not during this review. There we go. Yep, I always seem to have problems during reviews with transforming Transformer figures. Probably the reason why I stopped doing them, not just because I forget. It's just annoying when you do it wrong. So, anyway, here's pegs on the shoulders right here on both sides. There's the holes on the tire rims. Pretty much his shoulders are going to attach to them like so. They peg in. They don't make any sound. They just peg in. The only sound you'll hear is if they break. I assure you. Okay, next we're going to lift this up like so. Bring down the hand and rotate the arm. And then we're going to close this in. Now sometimes it will get stuck like it's doing right now. Actually it went in. But it will get stuck once in a while. Don't worry, just keep working with it and sooner or later it will collapse in all the way. Maybe this time it might screw up. Well, let's find out. Fold this down. Pretty much the opposite on the same side. Bring this out. Fold this up. Rotate it around. And yeah, there it goes. Well, there we go. We got it. Not bad. Not bad. Actually, pretty good. Pretty good timing. And that, just a little bit more of positioning, and there you go. There is Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime in his robot mode. And it is lovely. It really is. It's spot on, dead on with the show. It really, really is. I can have no complaints about this robot mode. Now, I do have complaints with the gimmick, pretty much. Well, not the gimmick, but the joints, pretty much, there is a problem with them. Well, for one, the arms are kind of tight, and sometimes they feel like if I move them too quick, they might snap off. So, I'm going to have to loosen them up a little bit by unscrewing them later on. It's too bad I didn't do it during the review. But still, it's nice. Another problem is Optimus Prime's supposed to have two Autobot symbols. One on this side of the shoulder and on this side of the shoulder. Well, actually, not on this side of the shoulder. It's supposed to be up here. Up here. If it's for cartoon accuracy, up here. Why they're down here, I don't know. But still, I like the figure nonetheless. Even if it is a little loose at the feet and sometimes he likes to lean back like so. I mean, he's still pretty good. For the price I paid for him, I'm actually kind of impressed. I mean, it's not that bad. You can actually get him into some very, very nice poses. And we're going to go through the articulation now. So he actually rotates around a full 360, as you can see. I really don't have to explain it. Just pay attention and I'll show you all the points that he actually moves. Bicep rotation, elbow goes up and down like so. Wrist, it actually does rotate, but due to the fact that this is sticking out right here, this red bit, you cannot get it to go around a full 360 without breaking something. So don't do it. Don't try it unless you want to break the figure. Why he has waist articulation, I don't know. It's great that it can actually rotate. I guess it's because of transformation reason only. But see what happens when you do that? Something is wrong here. It just looks all wrong. I mean, he's definitely disfigured, as you can see. So, yeah. One more thing about that waist rotation. I know I'm killing time doing this, but I'm trying to warn you guys. Do not try and rotate it this way. It will not. It will not. It will rotate this way, but not this way. I think it's stationary. If you try and rotate it this way, you might break the figure or you might loosen the joint. So don't do it. There's no reason to even try. Legs, they go up, they go back, they go side to side. You know, they're on a ball joint, as you can see. Well, you can't see. Well, okay, it's not a ball joint. Actually, it's a hitch. So, yeah, it's a hinge. It works just fine. It acts like a ball joint, though. Knees, they bend. They actually do rotate around a full 360. So that's kind of cool. The feet, they pivot a little bit up and a little down. And they go side to side. So, yeah, you get some pretty good, decent amount of posability with Optimus Prime, which is nice. It's too bad I don't have the deluxe Optimus Prime. I could have compared him if I actually had him, but I don't. I turned down that Optimus Prime because he just looked horrible. Vehicle mode was killed, but the robot mode was definitely a big failure. While some people actually liked it, I actually didn't like it. Sure, it had a lot of premium paint, as Hasbro said, but overall, the big giant gorilla arms totally made that one look like a huge failure. This is the big one. This is the one everyone should get a hold of, especially for when it comes to size comparisons with Hunt for the Decepticons Battleblade Bumblebee, which isn't in the picture. There you go. And one more. Everybody wanted to see this, of course. Transformers Prime RC with Optimus Prime. Now, this is the reason why I like motorcycle robots when they're in a bigger scale. Because, like I said, it's quite impossible to get this scale, this much articulation, into something this small. It's just not possible. I like this figure. I like this figure. There are a few complaints, but it's nothing too biggie. I mean, the shoulder joints, they actually do stay in place, where some people think that they would actually come out because of the way they're designed. They really don't. The only thing that's really loose on this figure is on the back. These like to move around a lot when you move them. I mean it. They just don't want to stay in place. They don't lock in anywhere. They just stick out, and they're kind of an eyesore at the back. I mean, look at this. Look at all the design on the front. Now look at the back. That could have been something else if Hasbro took a little bit more time. And the fact that his feet are actually loose, I mean, I'm surprised he's actually standing like this right now without balancing over. It's because of the heels that he's actually standing. But he's not really standing, he's actually leaning. So his joints are a little loose at the bottom. Maybe a little bit tightening to the screws might take care of that problem, but then again, who knows? You won't find out during this review, but if I do any changes to Optimus Prime, I will have a video update on it, if I decide to make one. So let's go ahead and get into the last part, his weapons. Pretty much, they peg into these holes in his hands, like so. Well, he doesn't have holes, you know. You get the idea, okay? But they do nicely hide his hands. They do very nicely. just like in the show, as if the gun's just coming out of his arm instead of being held in his hand. So that's pretty cool. Let's show off the design of the gun, if we can. Camera's having a little bit of a hard time focusing on this. Just a little bit. I think it's a little too bright in here. Maybe that's what it is. Come on. Come on. You making out any of this? Try this side. You can make out it. Just a little bit. Let's take a look at the sword. The big problem with this figure, if we can. Focus. Focus. There we go. Notice he's got like some kind of, well, not he, it's got some kind of gaping hole right here. The instructions don't tell a thing about it. Nothing whatsoever. It's just there and you're supposed to accept it, I believe. There is one thing that the gun does have. It has a gaping hole at the bottom right here, as you can see. That's because the instructions say to peg this in right here, and you've got Optimus Prime with a bayonet on the front of his gun, which is not used in the show, so it's kind of pointless. And because of the fact that it's rubber, it doesn't go in all the way. That's right, the sword is rubber, people. If you ain't figured it out by now, now you know. No quotes. I don't want to see any, and knowing is half the battle. So, yeah. It's like I said, plastic and rubber do not mix. Notice how loose that is. It's ready to come out, and there it goes. See? So, it was a nice try, but, I mean, really, Hasbro, do we have to move on to rubber weapons? What's next? The blaster gonna be rubber? It's a good thing it's not. I'm glad that it's plastic. See? Plastic. This, rubber. And it loses its form after a while, which is a shame. It's a nice weapon, but it was produced wrong. It should have been plastic, not rubber. If anything, for the kids' safety out there so they don't poke their eyes out, you could have at least trimmed this down a little bit. At least that would have been good enough. But overall, I am amazed with Optimus Prime. Like I said, he's got his problems, but really, what can you not love about this figure? Totally show accurate, great color scheme, and look at this, if you can see it. Hopefully you will see it. Optimus Prime's eyes have been painted silver. Not his eyes, but the outline of his eyes are finally painted silver. No longer are they just blue to blend in with the eyes and you really can't see it. You know what figures of Optimus Prime I'm talking about. This time, they are actually silver. Nice. So you really don't have to actually rely on the Takara Tomy version of Transformers Prime Voyager Prime. If you want to, this is good enough. Or unless you really want to go out all the way and just get the only color difference, which is a dark metallic blue on the Voyager class figure of Takara Tomy rather than the United States version, or should I say Hasbro. But really, it makes no difference. They're pretty much the same except for a little color change, and that's it. Like, let's say the light gray on this figure is actually a more darker gray for the Takara Tomy version. Everything about that Prime's color has changed by darkness, not brightness, just darkness, with a little metallic glitter here and there. But other than that, it is the same figure. I can actually recommend this figure. I really can. So anyone that was wondering, now you know. This figure is awesome. I love this figure. I really have no complaints about it except for some loose joints and a few nitpicks here and there that I've said during the review. But other than that, I think I've got everything packed down. This review is pretty much done. I have nothing else to say except I'm going to leave you with this one last look at these two right next to each other. And hopefully the Autobots will grow along with the Decepticons, which right now I have 0. Hopefully that will change when they finally hit retailers. This figure is not available yet in stores as far as I know. He's still going for sale on eBay and some other shops online. that he's going for a decent price at the moment. So if you can't wait for retailers to get a hold of this figure, I say go ahead and buy him online. But you will be waiting for quite some time if it's coming from overseas. Trust me, people, I know. So that's it. That is the end review of Transformers Prime, Voyager class Optimus Prime. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I will answer them when I get a chance. I'm sorry I did not go through any of the conversation with the display stand that Hasbro's trying to sell with these figures, which is, of course, a load of fuck. So, like I said, questions, comments, leave them below. I'll answer them when I get a time, guys. You know I will. And until next time, this is Red is Power / Sonic Ranger signing out. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.